Okay, I'm going to try this again. I'm using my phone because technology on my laptop is acting crazy. But you know what? I'm not going to let it defeat me. So I'm here. If you're just joining me, hello, I'm LaShonda Hoffman. The presentation is in the files, so feel free to download the thing. And I'm going to try to do this presentation from my phone without you seeing the presentation, but that's okay because you're here to see me anyway. So let's get started. First, I want to say thank you again to Sylvia Hubbard for inviting me. I'm all about building your readership. I talk about that a lot. I've been building a readership for a few years now. And I wrote my first book on Kindle for building your readership and had a great time doing that experiment. And then last year I published the book. And so if you have not read the book, get the book. It's on Kindle. It's on Kindle. It's on Kindle Unlimited. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can get a print copy and you can listen to it. And I use virtual voices with it. And I like the voice. It sounds really good. So let's get started. All right. So today we're going to talk about building your readership on social media, even if you hate promoting, how to attract the right readers. What you will learn inside today. We're going to understand why social media is for finding readers, not selling books. Identify exactly who is your ideal reader. Learn how to write posts that call that right reader to you. You're going to use simple questions to train the algorithm to find your audience. We're going to create a 7-day reader building content plan. And then we're going to know how to invite those readers to follow us offline. All right, so let's say, who am I? Well, I'm LaShonda Hoffman. I started my online business in 2000 when I started a magazine called Soar Mag, Shades of Romance. I was all about promoting romance authors to readers. I loved that job. It was probably the best job I ever had in my life. It didn't pay much, but I loved it. It started my career as a promotion strategist, helping authors learn how to strategize, how to promote their books online. I am now an author. I wrote my first book in 2015, Building Online Relationships. And I have 2 books under the promotion side. And I published my first fiction book last year, Love in Space, about falling in love in space. I am a podcaster, but that's been on hold for a little bit. I'm a blogger. I'm still blogging. Yes, I love blogging. As you can see, I'm a speaker. I talk about grief a lot. I'm a veteran, was in the Navy for 6 years, mother, wife, sister, friend, and guess what? The best grandmother you could ever think of. All right, so let's ask you this question. Are you sending out the right signals to your potential readers? As a book promotion strategist, I learned a lot about promoting, and as an author, I learned how to promote me, which is really hard because I know how to promote everybody else, but trying to promote yourself is harder, I found out. People used to tell me that all the time. It's hard. But what I found is that you have to promote to the right people. And when I started my Love in Space series, I realized that my people that were following me weren't my audience. And so I was like, oh, what does that mean? And do authors know that they're not following, their followers aren't their audience? And a lot of people don't know that. They think that, oh, I got 5,000 people. You got 5,000 people, you're going to sell 5,000 books. No, that's not how it works. What happens is that you build up these communities with people because that's what they tell us. Follow here, follow there, follow this person. You're following people and they're following you, but are they your audience? And so what we're going to learn today is about how to signal your audience, because that's how you figure out who that person is that wants to read your book. I don't know if Sylvia got in here, so let me check and see if she sees this before I continue, because I might be talking into the void and nobody sees anything. That happens. part of this craziness of being online. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get the messenger thing and see if Sylvia can see me. If she can see me. Oh, you got me? Okay, she sees me. I was just trying to say, okay, am I here? Because my phone is not showing anything, and I hate when it does that. But that's okay. Let's move on. All right, so part one, we're going to talk about why social media is not for selling. And I know you're probably saying, no, LaShonda, that's what, social media is about building relationships. Once you build those relationships, then you'll start selling. But just to get on here and say, okay, thank you. If you're getting on here thinking you're going to sell 1 million books because people are following you, I have probably 30,000 plus followers all over my social media platform to get, total. And no. I wish it was like that. I wish people were buying my books up like that. 30,000 people, man, look, I probably would be doing these presentations, okay? But that's not how it works. It does not work that way. So, you got to build the relationships first. And so your job is not to sell your book. Your job is to show the algorithm where your reader is. So when the right people are watching you, they're saving your stuff, they're commenting on your stuff, they're answering your questions, the platform learns, okay, these are the people I need to show your stuff to. And man, I had a hard time with that when I first got on social media. And then when I started being a promoter, I realized that was the important thing. People are always worried about being on social media all the time. And I was learning how that it's not about how much you're on here. It's about who is it putting you in front of. So if you're only on here once a month, guess what? It's not putting you in front of anybody because it doesn't have the stats. It needs the data. The data, remember that, is so important to you and to the algorithm. The algorithm can work for you or against you. And I'm trying to learn how to work with it so we can sell some books out here. So do you show the algorithm who is your reader? Because if you're not showing the algorithm that, guess what? It's not gonna help you at all. And so today we're gonna focus more on romance because that's my background a little bit. But I might ask Sylvia to bring me back and we can talk about the nonfiction stuff because I was gonna try to put nonfiction stuff in here and then I realized that that's two presentations and I want to try to confuse you. So we're going to focus more on fiction with the slight romance emphasis because most of the people writing romance, most of the people writing fiction, but I am also a nonfiction person. So tell Sylvia to set another date for me to come in and talk about the nonfiction side of it. All right. So you need to do your reader reality check. What fits your ideal reader? Do they like romance? Because if they don't like romance, then that person is not gonna be a reader. Do they like slow burn love? Do they enjoy clean or closed door stories? Or are they into spice? I learned the hard way that most people who read science fiction romance like spice. So I have to dig a little deeper to find the ones who like the sweet closed doors ones. Do they like black women in the leads? Or do they want interracial leads? Do they want leads that look like themselves? So you have to make sure that you're finding that reader. Do they like fantasy? Do they like science fiction? Do they like cozy mysteries? You're digging deep to find who is this reader and what is they like. What is their emotional connection to their books that they read? Do they want comforting stories? Do they want to go into the deep dark side of the world? Do they like to escape? You're asking all these questions because you want to know what is it they like. Do they like towns? Do they like to be on islands? Do they like family? This helps you build who your readers are. Just because your reader likes romance, then you got to dig a little more deeper in there and say, well, what type of romance do they like? And you're finding out more and more about your reader as you ask these different questions and as you listen, as you watch. If you're in these reader groups, listen to these people. They're telling you what they like, what they don't like. And when they're saying what books they read, that's telling you. Those are the data that's the data that you're looking for when you're trying to see what's happening, what's going on. I'm going to ask Sylvia if anybody has questions. to tag me or to send it to me in the message thing, and I can see it that way, because for some reason this lovely live on my phone is not working that way. So if you have questions, put them in the comments, and then Sylvia can send them to me and I can answer them, or I will just come back later after the presentation and answer them that way. That way you get a full answer, you know. Part 2 is build your reader identity. Okay, your reader isn't everyone. When I do promotion strategy sessions with authors, that's the first question I ask them is, who is your ideal reader? And most people say, oh, my book is for everybody. I probably maybe get 3 or 4 people who say, oh no, my book is for that science fiction romance reader who likes to snuggle up on the couch on a Saturday night and go deep into the stories and read about aliens, and that's who you want to talk. That's who your reader is. They are a very specific kind of person that likes what they like. And so you got to get to know that person. Who is she? Who is he? For your action steps, we want a reader identity statement. So you want to fill in these blanks. My books are for. Who is your book for? Who loves and want to feel when they read. So my books are for Black women who love science fiction romance and want to feel out of this world when they read. Boom. See how simple that was? But it gets you right where you want to get for who my reader is when I'm talking about that reader. I want to connect with that Black woman who loves science fiction romance. Loves it, loves it, loves it. So who is your reader? What do they love? How do they feel when they read your books? When they read your books, because that's what you want. You want to know how they feel. Then you want to use social media to turn your social media into a reader filter. How can social media help you find this reader? Every post should quietly ask, is this for you? When the right people stop, the algorithm learns. Are you posting the right content for your reader? When I got on Threads, I tried Threads because I wanted a new avenue. I couldn't find the readers. I couldn't find them. It was so hard trying to find them. Because the algorithm was really deep. You had to talk about certain things all the time, and so I had to learn that how the algorithm works. So I always say to people, when you get on a platform, figure out how the algorithm works. It takes time, but it will teach you. It will show you things. If you're getting crickets, as I say, when you post something and nothing happens, you can get crickets. I was on there probably a year before I got people to say something to me book-wise. But I found a niche that I liked. If you know LaShonda, I am a K-drama fiend. Addicted. Very much. But that's my joy right now in this crazy world. You have to have some type of joy, and K-dramas is my joy. And so I just started talking about K-dramas on Threads, and I started going viral. I was like, what? My first viral post had 13,000 views. I woke up in the middle of the night. I had posted something about being addicted to K-dramas, and that resonated with all the other K-drama people out there. And guess what the stupid algorithm started doing? Showing my posts to K-drama people. Boom, boom, boom. All night long, my phone was dinging. Ding, 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 ding. I'm like, what is going on? What is this? And so it taught me, one, that you're never ready for when your post goes viral. You're never ready. I wasn't. I had nothing to sell. I wasn't even doing anything about K-dramas. But I created a PDF because, hey, you need a PDF. You need a freebie. But it taught me that there were other people on this platform who got me, who got my love for social media, who got my love for K-dramas, and who were just as addicted as I was, and who wanted to talk to me. They wanted to talk to me about K-dramas. And my whenever I post about K-dramas, I'm getting 1,000 views or more every time. Now I put Love and Space up there and maybe it show it to 10 people. I hate it. But that's just how the algorithm works. And so it taught me that I had to teach the algorithm who LaShonda was, who she was writing about, and can you introduce me to those readers? And it took about maybe 3 to 6 months for my feed to start seeing readers versus just anybody. And so it takes time. Again, I was talking about that data. It takes time to get the data out there. But how do I reach those people? How do I get social media to filter out? And one of my things is questions. If you know me, I teach asking questions. And so we're going to talk about your 5 reader calling questions, how you write questions that are only for your ideal reader who will come to you and it'll draw them out. Example, like, would you try an arranged marriage in space? Most people are going to say, what in the heck is LaShonda talking about? But that space person, that person who loves space stories, it's gonna stop them in their scroll. Oh, what? Oh, arranged marriage in space? What? Let me check out what she talking about. What you talking about? Then they usually will say something in the comments. If that person is not interested in space stuff, guess what? They keep scrolling. She said, do you love romance without spice? These are questions I would ask, because I don't write spice. I write sweet stuff. So those who like spice probably might say something like, why not? Why wouldn't you have spice? You're going to get them. That's the controversy. But you want that because guess what? That controversy is going to get your feed to keep moving. And it's going to keep the algorithm showing. All right. And so and then you want to go to, you can answer in there, well, just explain why you don't write spice to that person. And that's going to move the algorithm. I found that out. I am not a controversial person, and I had a hard time with that. But controversy works on social media. So if you like controversy, you will blow up because it'll work, because it wants that fighting back and forth. That's what the algorithm sees, you fighting back and forth. I call it conversation. I like to have a conversation, even if I'm getting a little controversy. But those disruptive questions is what gets you in front of that reader who's like, ooh, what is she talking about? What? Let me see. I have another question that says, do you want stories where Black women are cherished? Boom. Ooh, what's she talking about? You stopping them in their track. So write 5 questions that will stop your reader, your potential reader, in their tracks and say, what is this woman talking about? Let me engage with her to learn more. All right, I see we had a question. Let me look at my thing very fast. So I should look at making a list at least 4 months of promos before. Hold on. It says I should look at making at least 4 months of promo before giving up on marketing that much to see results. Okay, so let's talk about book promotion. And I'm going to tell you what I tell my clients all the time. They get mad at me when they say that there is no limit on how long you promote your book. It's forever. As an indie author, you're forever promoting books because you want people to see your books. You want people to know about your books. I use this example. So Domino's. I get a Domino's newsletter probably twice a day. Every day. Because why? Because they know I want some lunch and I want some dinner. They trying to get me to say, okay, let me hit that buy button and buy some pizza today. They don't know when I'm going to buy that pizza, but they know that if they stop sending it to me, I'm going to buy probably Papa John's pizza instead of Domino's pizza. So that's how you look at your books. Will your readers buy today, or will they buy tomorrow? Will they buy the next day? If you only promote once a month, you're going to get once a month sales. You don't have to promote every day, But you have to get into the habit of being consistent so the readers can see you and know that you exist, because there are millions, did you hear me? Millions and millions of authors out here writing books, and you got to get your book up to the top so they can say, I'm buying this book instead of that book. And if you're not promoting and you're saying, oh, I'm just going to do it for 4 months and that's it, I'm done. Guess what? That person who said, I'm going past 4 months, that's who's going to be in front of the people. So you trying to get your book in front of your reader. You're trying to get them excited about your book. And they can't do that if you decide that you're going to only promote for 4 months. I'll move on. I recommend you have a 12 months promotion plan and break it up in quarters, so that 3 months you promote this, you're doing this, and then you look at your results after that 3 months, and then you say, can I move these stuff to the next quarter, or do I leave that behind? Because if it didn't work, it doesn't make any sense to continue on with the next quarter. So if it worked, if some of those things work, put it in there, and you need some new fresh ideas, put it in the next quarter, and you rinse and repeat. You keep doing that until the end of the year. At the end of the year, you look at the whole full year and you say, which promotion worked for me, which promotion sucked, which promotion will I be continuing in the next year. And then you start your promotion all over again. It's a never-ending cycle if you're doing it right. You might not, like for me, I had one book for 10 years. 10 years. Man, I was tired of promoting that book. I was tired. My biggest book promotion money-making year wasn't the year it came out. It was the year of COVID, the pandemic. Because there were so many authors at home, sitting at home, and they were like, this is the time I can read LaShonda's book. And guess what? They were buying it. And you know why? Because I was promoting the heck out of it. I was telling different things you could do during the pandemic. I was showcasing that book every day during the pandemic because I knew people were at home. This is the time they had to read. And if you wasn't promoting during the pandemic, you lost it, because those readers were buying books. They were buying print books. I sold print books, people, not ebooks, print books. They was buying books. And then they was trying to make me go to the post office because they didn't want to buy from Amazon. They wanted my autograph books. I was like, I don't want to go to the post office. People sick out there. But hey, I went to the post office. So get your books out there. But create your plan. Do your 3 month plan. Move to the next month. You don't have to promote every day, but you have to be consistent. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's my promotion time for Love and Space. Tuesdays and Thursdays is when I promote my nonfiction books. Boom. It helps me stay okay, not get overwhelmed, and I promote that way. Find a system that works for you. That's the best advice I can give anybody, is find a system that works for you. Monday, Wednesday, Friday might not work for you. You'd be like, you know what? I'm doing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's when I want to promote. Weekend promotion. I have a lot of weekend promotion authors that are my clients. It works for them. They have time. They can be on social media as long as they want to be. They're not overwhelmed, and it's working for them. Find the system that works for you. I can give you ideas, but you still have to figure out what works for you. All right, so let's go to part 4, the reader magnet post formula. So every great post uses this formula. You need a hook. You need the identity, you need the emotion, you need the invitation. For example, what if you were chosen first for once? That's a question. It has a hook in there. It has who I'm talking to, chosen first for once, and the emotions. It builds that emotion. What's the invitation? So you're trying to get your readers to get hooked to you, feel like you're talking to them, get the emotional part of it, and then what happens? You want them to answer the question. That's the invitation, the call to action. What is it that you want them to do? This is hard sometimes because you're trying to figure out why you want them to read your book. and it's not buy my book. I see so many of that, buy my book, buy my book. I was guilty of that for years, of posting the book, the description, and then the link. And then they changed the algorithm and you couldn't put the link in there anymore. And I'm like, no, how can they buy my book? But then TikTok taught us that they didn't need a link. People see the book, they save the video, or they save a screenshot of the book, and then they go hunting for the book. So what was it that drew them into the book when you're on a video? On a video, you really can't write a lot of stuff. So you're saying, well, it's the hook, something in there, the emotion, what made them. As I say, I watch K-dramas. I can watch a snippet of a K-drama and know I want to watch this K-drama. It's going to be, oh my God, it's going to grab me. It's got the romance in there. It's got the good looking man. It's pulling me through. And so that's what you want to do with your reader mag, with your posts. Pull that person in. What pulls that person in? And how can you duplicate it? Look at the data. The data is it. So I did a video about, it was just a spaceship going across the space, a spaceship. And then I put my hook in there. Some reason that hook just grabbed that reader. You know, I got a bunch of views on it. I got comments on it. And I was like, what was it that made them so and then I try to look at that what is it that I post? What was the hook that I post? You know, and people have to resonate with it. What makes your reader resonate with your books? That is so important. If you are already established author, you kind of know, but you don't kind of know. You know, what I say is go look at your reviews. Print those reviews out and highlight what they say. What did they say about how this book made them feel? Highlight those things. If you're new like me, you don't have that. So you gotta keep putting the data out there. You gotta keep putting the questions out there and looking at your questions. I go back each week and look at which post got the most engagement. Talking to me. You're talking to me. Views are great, but when they talk to me, when they say something in the comments, I look at that because I want to know what is it that inspired them to want to say something to me. We'll talk about a topic I talked about this week was chin hairs. I got my chin waxed this weekend. Thursday. And I said I'm gonna talk about that because I talk about women and getting older in my books, and that's one of the things about getting older is chin hairs. And man, it went over 1,000 views. But it got like 50 comments because it resonated with women. The women who understood chin hairs, they got them. And women who were on their way to chin hairs. What chin hairs? One lady said that she had one. And so a lady came back and said, bless you, you got one. She said, I have an Iowa field of them. And that just cracked me up because I'm like, oh, wow. Let me be quiet with my little 5 on there. You know, but it resonated with them. And it made me think about this topic here today was that why did these people resonate to this chin hair? Because I didn't think I was going to get anybody. I was just ranting about having to go wax my chin hair for the day, you know, and that's what grabbed people. And I'm like, how can I do that with my books? How can I grab that reader where she goes, Shonda, oh, I loved Cian is just one of my characters. Cian, he was so romantic in this. I loved how he sent flowers to his wife and daughter. I love that. I want to be able to grab my readers that way. And so how are you grabbing them? How are you hooking them? If you can polish the hook, if you can get the hook really well, you will succeed on this social media because that hook, man, and I can't tell you how to do it because I'm learning. I can't because each person's hook is different. That's what I've learned. My hook is different from your hook. You've got to dig into what your reader is. That's why knowing who your reader is so important because you can dive into them and you can see what they want. You can see what they need. And then you can hook them more. You can bring them more. I always talk about my favorite author, Beverly Jenkins, and how she brings us into her story and how we love her story, how she hooks us with different things. Look at your favorite authors. If you have favorite authors, why are you reading them? Think about that. Why are you reading those books? I love Beverly. She always has a man you want to fall in love with. She always has good friendships. I love friendships in books. The story continues. I love a continuing story. I love that I get inspired. I love when she makes me cry. When she makes me cry, ooh, that's what I want my readers to do, to cry when they read my stories. So go think about what hooks you to your favorite authors, and then what do you want to hook your readers with? What is it that you want to draw them into your story? You know that. I can't tell you that, but you know that. And so that's what you're going to practice, is creating 3 hooks for your books. 3 hooks. You want your identities for those hooks, the emotion the hook is going to bring, and then what is your call of action, that invitation for your reader. Practice that this week. Practice that. Create those 3 hooks. Oh, that's a great question, Sylvia. Are polls good for engagement? Yes, this is how you get them. So I do polls, but guess how I do them? I use questions. So I write down, I tell my clients, and I'm going to tell you this, my little tip. This is my tip that I give everybody about promoting. Sit down and write 30 questions that you want to ask your reader. 30 questions. You can use them as polls. You can use them as hooks, but questions to ask, not no yes or no questions. No yes or no questions. You want to get deep into them and bring them into your conversation. You want to have conversations with your readers. And so those questions is that. People be like, I don't got 30 questions. But you do. You have 30 questions. And look at that. Look at that. Go back to the last week, and look at your engagement. Look at the engagements that got the comments. What did you do? What was that post about? Because can you duplicate that? That's why I ask you all the time. Can you duplicate that? I am proponent of evergreen content that you can bring back every year. Bring that content back every year and ask. Because guess what? Your social media feed is going to always show somebody different. So they probably didn't see it last year that you was talking about this conversation. This year, you're talking about it again. But it's a conversation that you learn more about your readers. You gain more information that you can share, that you can help you write more questions. I am a person who uses my memory. If I have Facebook memory is one of the things, the folders that they show, and it shows all the stuff that's happened since you've been on here. So I've been on Facebook since 2009. So I have lots of memories that come up, and every year it comes up on different things. And then what I use the memory for is to show me what content works for me and what content didn't work for me. One of the contents that I never thought I would talk about on social media was grief. I got into grief talking about my mom when she passed in 2011. 2011, I talked about my mom passing, getting to the point of passing, and when she passed, and how I felt every day, and I posted that. And I found that I was not alone in my grief journey. People understood. Some people, mothers had been passed for 30, 40 years, and they talked to me, and they shared, and they helped me through this journey of losing my mother. And so I realized when I went back over the years that grief was a topic that helped people, which I want to do is help people, but it helped me too. And so look at your memories. Go back and look at your memories. I look at mine every day. Which one of these can I repost again? Which one of these can I share? I'm doing a series on the authors that I showcased it in Sora Mag for Black History Month. And so what I did was I made this post in probably 2020 when I created the first original one. And I did it in Canva, so I had the graphics. And so when I went in graphics, I said, you know what? I want some Black history background instead of what I had before. I changed the graphics out. I posted it on there. They look like brand new posts. People see them, they're like, oh, I love this. Because they probably didn't see them the year before. And I've been doing that for 6 years now. The same post. It's just got a different background. I might update the caption. But it works. If it works, you do it again. If it doesn't work, you push it aside and move on. And that's what you have to look at when you're doing promotion, is what works and what doesn't. And that's the thing about the algorithm. The algorithm is going to show you what's working and what isn't working. All right, part 5. Moving your readers off social media. This is hard because most people don't think about moving their people off social media. And so this is what I'm learning as a strategist and as an author, that you have to have different paths for your reader to get to you. So I'll share my paths. So I have my website, LaShondaHoffman.com. I have social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Threads. I'm on a lot of stuff. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I'm on, who else? LinkedIn. I am on Substack. I just started Substacks this year. So that's like almost 6 different avenues that people can get to me. And I have my Amazon page. So the Amazon author page is very important too, because you might not have a website. You send them to there. So where do you want your readers to go if social media failed? If social media shut down today, where would your readers go? For me, mine would go to LaShondaHoffman.com, because that's where I want them to go. So I'm constantly inviting them over to the website, either come and check out my blog, check out some articles I've written, or check out a video I'm showing. I send them to LaShonda Hoffman first. So I want them to come into my world that way. So how are you inviting them into your world? My new world right now is Substack. So if you're not on Substack, check it out. It's a nice place to be for authors. Lots of authors are there, but it's another avenue for readers to get to me. And so I'm always looking for new avenues, because if you only on Facebook, you're only going to see Facebook people. I'm about meeting new people every day. So this year I decided that I was going to write books, and I was not going to be going to events. I'm going to sit my butt down and write books, which with the K-dramas, sometimes that's hard. But writing books is my goal for this year. Try to publish at least 4 books this year. And so I said, well, how am I going to meet new people every day when I'm not going outside my home? And so I said, well, I'm going to do social media, Facebook. Facebook is my first place. Everybody knows me there. I'm not meeting new people. And you have to pay attention to that with your social media. Are you meeting new people? I was not. I was not meeting new people on social media. Most of my my Facebook people were authors. Okay, which is good for the building your readership thing. But for the Love and Space series, no, it was not. So I had to leave that platform. So I went over to TikTok. And then, what happened with TikTok is all crazy now. So I was like, okay, if TikTok got crazy, where can I go next? I went to Threads. I like Threads, but I couldn't find my community in Threads. It took a while. I'm finally getting my community there after a year being on there. So when somebody said you've done in 4 months, girl, 12 months. Just for people to say, hi, LaShonda. Okay? But I didn't give up, because I still was connecting with people there. I just learned that you can't wait on somebody to come to your space. You got to go to their space. So what I do is I go to other people's comments. Those comments are your goal. That's how you meet people, is in the comments. If you're only looking at your feed and that's it, you're never going to reach new people. So remember, comment. Make 3 comments a day if you can on every platform that you're on. 3 comments. That's my goal, to meet new people. That's how you meet new people. That's how you get new followers. If you're not talking to anybody, if you're just looking at your feed, you go on social media, I'm going to post my little stuff, and then I'm out. I hear that all the time. When you out, guess what? Somebody else in. You better believe it. And they're having conversations with their readers. They're not afraid to be having conversations. I had a lady tell me, I don't have time to talk to my readers. I was like, ooh, okay. Be that author. It's fine if you don't want to talk to your thing. I'm about building relationships. So if you're not about building relationships, that's okay. I'm not going to say that's wrong, especially if you're selling books. She's like, I'm selling books. I'm happy. I don't have to talk to them. Great. Sell them books, girl. I'm not going to say anything. But if you're not selling books, Like me right now, nobody knows me. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get past the one book a month thing. I want to get higher than that. I got to talk to people. I got to meet people. I got on this post and was talking to somebody, lady got in my DM. She DM me. I DM. What's that book about? Okay, here we go. That's the conversation I'm talking about. Let me get off my rant. So let's go to inviting people offline. So how do you do that? You ask them to follow me. Follow me here. This is what I do on this platform. If you want to bring them to another platform, these are the videos I create on YouTube, on TikTok. And always make sure you're doing that invite. Try to do it at least once a week. Invite them to your newsletter, because you know me, I'm a big email person. Invite them to your newsletter at least once a week so they know you have a newsletter. Sometimes people don't know you have a newsletter. Invite them to your website. Make sure you updating your website so they can go over there and check out what's happening at your website. Have good content that's not anywhere else on your website, so they will come back to your website. You're constantly bringing those people back because you want them to build relationship with you. People come visit people they like. They don't go visit people they don't like. They visit people they like. All right, so let's talk about your 7-day reader building plan. All right, it's inside the presentation. So you know how I say that I promote on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And so I have different things I talk about. These are different things you can talk about on your reader building things and you got your questions, you got different things. So on Mondays, you can ask a question, ask your reader a question. On Tuesday, you can do a story moment, talk about your book, talk about excerpt in a book or something like that. Wednesday, do a quote from the book. Thursday, would you rather be living on a space station, or would you rather live on a spaceship? That's would you rather. Fridays, world or setting. Talk about where your book is set at. My book is on a spaceship, the USS Obama. So I talk about the spaceship if I want to talk about the spaceship. You can talk about your small town. What's wonderful about your small town? Okay, we'll talk about that. And Saturday, introduce your characters. Do it from their point of view. And then Sunday is the day that you invite them to join you on your Substack, or join you on your email list, or join you on your website, join your YouTube channel. Invite. So you don't need links when you're doing this, because as we know, the links stop you on social media. All the social media right now are against links. They don't want you to take people off their platform. And then I just read the other day that they don't even want the link in the first people were putting it in the first comments. They don't even want that then. If you've noticed, if you're doing comments, that if you put a comment in somebody's page, sometimes the link doesn't even work. Yeah, they're really trying to stop you from taking these people off these platforms. So it's all about the conversation. Remember that. It's all about the conversation. You're trying to get people to talk to you. So that's my hunt for the day. How can I get somebody to say something to me? I'm telling you, the chin hair, really? That was the conversation that blew up? Not that you want to be on my spaceship or something, really? But that's how it works. That's how the algorithm works. It doesn't want to promote your book. It doesn't want to promote your book. So that's why you got to do kind of this little workaround, talking about other things to slide your book in there. You're going to slide it in there, little slowly, but you got to get it in there. That's the workaround to get past the buy my book stage. All right, and we had a question about explain a reader magnet. Okay, so that's different from the question stuff. A reader magnet is what is it that you want to share with with the reader. And there are different types. So I've been studying up on this because I'm trying to work on some reader magnets to build my email list. And so I learned that the reader magnet is a way to introduce your voice to the reader. So most people do a bonus chapter, but the bonus chapter really is for the people who are already reading the book. So that's a different magnet. So that's the magnet that you put at the end of your book when they finish and you go, oh, do you want to see their wedding scene 2 years later? Boom. Then you get them to sign up for your email list and they get that bonus. I'm trying to reach new readers, so I need to create a new story or a sub story from my thing. So I have a couple that's in my in Love and Space now, and I'm doing a story about them, a side story about them, because she's not going to get a whole book. She's a side character, but I love their storyline. She's an older woman who falls in love with a younger guy, and so I'm doing their story. And you want it short and sweet, not a full book. Most people give a full book, but I don't recommend a full book because you want them to buy the book. So give them, I was told that under 10,000 words for a reader magnet. And then that's to draw that new reader in. And then you have the reader magnet for the people who already know about your story and are reading your story that way. So those are 2 ways to do reader magnets. Hopefully that helped you. If not, ask another question. All right, we are coming to the end, and I did pretty good considering. I'm LaShonda Hoffman. You can reach me at LaShondaHoffman.com. But my invite to you is not my email list, but I want you to come over to my Substack. It's called Building Your Readership Daily, and I post on Tuesdays and Thursdays about building your readership. I'm giving you tips like this, different challenges to do to get yourself out there and build these readerships with your readers. I'm trying to build my Substack, so I'm inviting you there to join me there. Check it out. The link is in the presentation, and then I'll put it in the comments when I get off here. But come over to Substack. That's a new place to reach readers. There are readers there. They are there. There are authors are there hanging out there. They have their own communities there. And if you're looking for something new, as for social media, or as I said, I'm talking about those avenues to get your readers to, check out Substacks. It's time consuming, yes, but you can repurpose. That's what I'm doing. Repurpose information there. I'm putting new information there that I've created. And I'm learning the algorithm, how to reach the readerships there. It's a journey. This is a journey that you're on when you're promoting. It's not a journey that takes time, that it has a limit to it. So don't think that, I'm going to promote my book for 3 months and then I'm done. Yeah, right. I told you I have a book that came out in 2015. Last year was its 10th year anniversary, and I recovered it, and I'm starting the promotion journey all over again with that book. It's getting out there to people, showing people that they making online relationships. That's what that book is about, building online relationships, and 26 things that you can do to do that. Building your readership are 12 things that you can do to build your readership. I have 2 more books in that series that will be out. So that's one of the books that will be out for the 4 books I was talking about doing. That'll be coming out this year. I haven't figured out what dates, but I will let you know when they do. But I'm here to help you on your promotion journey. If you need help, I do book promotion strategy sessions. We sit down and we try to figure out a plan for you. We do a 3-month plan. If you want a year plan, we can do that too. But I like to work with 3 months because that gives you a little bit of results. You can do a 1-month plan and see how that works. But if you do it in 3 months, you really can see some things and say what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you like and what you don't like. Because as an author, you need to know what you like to do and what you don't like to do. Doing lives might not be for you. You might not like it. And you will not believe that I did not like doing lives. I still get that little nervous feeling. I still talk myself out of it. And then Miss Sylvia would say, I need you to teach a class. And then, okay. I said I was going to go live every Friday this year. And ain't happened yet. But it's because... I'm nervous about it. It's something that makes me nervous. I'm getting in front of people, and I have a Mickey Mouse voice, and I sometimes get be like, oh, nobody want to hear me. Hey, but I found things that I like. I love to make graphics. That's one of my fun things. So I'd like to make graphics. I like to do podcasts. I love podcasts. I love audio, so I do audio, and and sometimes I like doing newsletters and writing stuff. I love to help people. So that's one thing that I learned with social media that I can do is help people. And so you need to know how to do that. You need to do an author monthly. Okay. I found that when you do things that you like and that is fun, you will enjoy promotion. When you say you don't enjoy promotion, it's because you're doing stuff that you don't like to do. And most people don't want to promote. They want to write. And I understand that. I had a hard time with it too when I started being a published author, that I had to make time. And then I'm promoting other people too. And I was like, I'm tired. But what I learned from my the lessons I'll teach, I share my lessons because I want to help you. One of the things I learned when I first had one book, my goal was to sell at least one book a month. And sometimes I sold 2, sometimes I sold 5. I wasn't selling multiple books, millions of books. And so I understood an author that said they wasn't selling books because I wasn't selling that many books. And I don't think most people come out selling 20, 30 books a month. You got to build up to that. And so when you first release your book and you got 5 people bought the book, you mad, you upset, and you're like, oh, it's not happening for me. That's because you haven't got in front of people. One client told me that she wanted to sell 5,000 books. I was like, oh, I love that goal. How many people you have on Facebook? And she's like, I've got 250 people on Facebook. I said, so how are you going to get the rest of that 5,000 people? And she looked at me and she was like, I said, yeah. You got a goal of 5,000 people, but you only know 250. So you got to know people. That's the building the relationships. That's the relationships you're building. Getting to know people. So your followers might not be your audience. I got 5,000 plus people on Facebook. None of them people love loving space. None of them. They is not into space stuff. And so I had to get off Facebook and go somewhere else and find people. I sold books because I went off that platform to a new platform and introduced myself. And I'm introducing myself all the time. Introduce yourself and your books. That's what promotion is about. Introducing yourself and your books. Sylvia sent me messages. Hold on a second. How do you feel about using chat to help you with Sylvia? Oh no, there was another question too. Oh, okay. Chat GTP is your friend. That's all I'm going to say. Like I used to say, Google is your friend. Chat GTP is your friend for marketing wise. It has taught me so much about marketing. The questions that you want to ask, but you scared to ask somebody else because you don't want them to know that you ain't selling books. Hello. And so you can ask that. You can ask that. I know a lot of people are against AI, and I'm not here to sell you on AI. I'm not. That's your choice. You have the choice to use it, and you have the choice to use it. Not use it. I say use it as a tool to help you improve your marketing, because that's what it's for. It's a tool. It's not to take over the world, but it's a tool to help you get better. If you can't figure out a hook, go in there and say, hey, I can't figure out this hook. What can I do to write better hooks? It's going to give you a template. Or you can ask it to create you a template to write better hooks. That's a whole nother conversation. So I'm I gotta go there. But you want to bring me back for that one too? I'll talk about some more of that, marketing on that. But do not be afraid. I write spicy. How can I promote without offending people? Ooh. Ask chat that. It can help you with that. What I'm learning as a person who does not write spice is stuff that you can't say. Like I said, sex. Ooh, I did not know you can't say sex. It probably muted on here. But I said no sex. So, and then people were saying that's why your video got muted, and I was like, oh crap. And so I hope this video don't get muted. But find out that you can ask chat to find out the words not to use on social media, because there are words that you can't use, and it will mute you, or it will block you, or it will kick you off the social media. You don't want to get kicked off of social media. There, you can do a Google search if you're not into AI. Do Google searches. There's a bunch of people who've created lists of words that you can't use on social media. And I would go to look at the dates, look at the current dates. If something 2026, look at something 2026. If it's 2025, it might be still standard. But the stuff, one of the things about social media is that every day is a new thing. Every day something new comes up that's telling you what to do and what not to do. And so you want to make sure that you're on top of everything. Pay attention to what platforms you are. Pay attention to the rules of that platform. The last thing you want to do is get kicked off of a platform because you disobeyed their rules. And I can say what I want to say. I can do what I want to do. No, this is their place. This is their house. That's why I always say build your own house and then go visit the other people's houses, because that's what you're doing. You're visiting other people's houses, and they have rules. When they say you come to my house, you got to take your shoes off, and people be like, I ain't taking my shoes off. Then you can't come in my house. And that's the same way with this. They say don't use links, then don't use links, because guess what? They're not going to show your stuff to people. I had to learn that the hard way as a book promoter. I was like, nah, I was telling people that use them links. They like the links. When I got onto the professional board and seen that my stuff was not getting shared the way I thought it was getting shared, oh my gosh. I was like, I had to recant that. Don't use links. Don't use links. Don't use links. Because they was like, yo, you using these links. You trying to take them to Amazon. We're not letting let nobody see your post. 3 people see my social media post. What? 3 people? Take the links off. Don't put links on your graphics. That's still considered a link. I had to take LaShonda Hoffman completely, LaShondaHoffman.com out. I tell people that all the time. All the little stuff that I have been teaching, I had to recant all that because the algorithm was changing. The bots are crazy. They're crazy. If you got a link on your graphic, if you got your website on your graphic, if you say Amazon on your graphic, if you say Kindle Unlimited on your graphic, it can stifle the graphic. If you are a professional Facebook page, it'll tell you in there this site, the reason why this graphic is not being shown a lot, and they'll tell you there's a link in the graphic, and you be like, really? Seriously? This is not blowing up because you are having a problem with my links, but you have to. I have to respect the platform. If you're not respecting the platform, it's not gonna respect you. It's not. I'm right now trying to get my stuff out there. Can you use hashtags and links? Again, pay attention to the platform. So last year, hashtags was being obsolete. They're obsolete. They were saying Instagram wasn't using hashtags. Even the owner came on and talked about Instagrams and said that they were not using hashtags anymore. So pay attention to the platforms. Look at your data. Your data gonna tell you, is hashtags working for you? If they're not, then you putting 13 hashtags every post. You don't have to do that. Instagram, you can only do 5, I think. I think TikTok is the same way. You only can do so many, a limited amount of hashtags. So pay attention to that. Next, she said something else. Username. I wouldn't even put usernames if you're taking them to another platform. Even if you're taking them to their platform like Instagram, they don't want you to leave Facebook. They want you to be on Facebook. Instagram don't want you to leave Instagram. It wants you to be on Instagram. Same way with Threads. Threads don't want you to leave Threads. They don't want you. I found anytime I put a link in there, nope. I put the pictures. I was putting my graphics up there. I was putting just the graphic just to see what I would get. Nope. I had Kindle Unlimited on there. Nope, nobody was seeing it. Just a picture. Boom. I started just putting pictures up. No book stuff. Bam. It's 500 people see it. What? I want to go. So you gotta figure out how to manipulate it to put your story in there. You put your stories in the comments. You're talking to people in the comments. You're talking about your things. You're sharing the thing. If you put a link in that first comment, it ain't going nowhere. Look at your data. I'm telling you, my data, how my links ain't working. Maybe your links work. I have a lady, she says her links she's been putting links in there for 10 years and she ain't stopping. And her links work. She has taught that algorithm to accept them. I got plays, so they ain't accepting that. But you got to look at your data. Look at what's working for you, what doesn't. Again, your homework. Go look at last week's promotion that you did. Did you get comments? Did you get shares? The shares are so important. most people don't share content. So if you could get somebody to share what you wrote, boom. I used to get mad at people sharing stuff that had nothing to do with the book. I'm like, why is you sharing? But now I realize that it's good because that person's sharing my stuff and I'm getting in front of their readership. Bring it back, So share stuff, share things. What I try to do is share 3 posts, somebody's post on the platforms I'm on 3 times. I learned that from LinkedIn. The guy on LinkedIn, he's all about sharing. And so he says, share people, find 3 posts that resonate with you and your community and share those things. Even if you make a quote, talk about it in their quote, then share. That brings new people to you. I think that's it. If we have any other questions, if not, we'll get out of here. And if Sylvia wants me to come back again, we could talk about nonfiction stuff, because nonfiction is what, oh my goodness, you're teaching. And so it's a whole different ballgame. I was going to try to put some little snippets in here, and I was like, nah, that'd be a disservice to those people. So we'll do another presentation about that. That's it. Oh, and I have one more thing hold on. I got to do my sponsorship. All right, so my sponsor, Miss Sylvia Hubbard, will be doing a presentation today at Valentine's Day at the main Detroit Public Library today at 2 p.m. for the Black Romance panel with other local authors. So if you're in Detroit, go check out Miss Sylvia and give her some support, buy some books, and give her a hug for me because I appreciate her very much. That's my sponsor post for today. Again, check me out on Substacks. And if you want to check out my others, I have 2 Substack things. My other Substack is Book Butterflies. And I am writing an episodic book there. I'm learning from my besties, Sylvia and Sabrina. They do episodic books. That's how I got on Kindle. And I actually like doing episodic books. So I'm doing a romance on an island. Yes, these ladies moved to a retirement island. So come and check that out on the Book Butterflies under LaShonda. If you want to read my episodic book with me as I write it, I guess that's it. You all have a beautiful Valentine. I am going to go snuggle with my Valentine. And I will see you next time. See you on the net. Bye-bye.